In our previous class, we discussed about how we can identify linear equation, how we can tell if the slope is greater than 0, if a linear equation is increasing, decreasing, or horizontal, depending on what the slope is. And we talked about how we can graph linear equation. In today's class, we're going to look at grade 9 linear function. We're going to look at how we can solve linear equations. And these are some of those things we are going to see in our class today. Now, solving linear equations simply means finding the value of the variables that are given in that linear equations. Remember, in our first class on linear function, we talk about variables being the values of x, being x, y, z, and the rest. Now, a linear equation, when we talk about solving linear equation, a linear equation is a combination of an algebraic expression and an equal to symbol. Now, when we have an algebraic expression with an equal to symbol, it is what a linear equation. And it also have only one, it has a degree of 1 and can be called a first degree equation. Now, let's look at this example. We will have x plus y to be equal to, let's take it to be 4. Now, this is an algebraic expression having x and y and having an equal to symbol, and it has a degree of 1 and can be called a degree 1 equation. Now, when we talk about a degree 1 equation, it's an equation in which the variables is to the power of 1. And when we talk about a degree 2 equation, it's an equation in which the variables is to the power of 2. And on, if the variable is a power of 3, it is a degree 3 equation. So, as for linear equations, their degree is just what? 1. So, this is a linear equation of variable x plus 1, y equal to 4. So, sometimes we may have to find the values of these variables that are involved in these linear equations. And the process of finding the values of such variables, when we are given 2 or more sets of linear equation, is what we call solving linear equations. Now, there are a few methods of solving linear equations, but in our video lessons, we are going to look at 4 different methods of solving linear equation. 1, we're going to look at solving linear equation in one variable. 2, we're going to look at solving linear equation by substitution method. And 3, we're going to look at solving linear equation by elimination method. 4, we're going to look at solving linear equation using graphical method. Now, in this class, we are going to consider just 2 of these methods, solving linear equation in one variable, and then solving linear equation by substitution method. Now, in our previous class, we talked about graphing linear equation. We must have learned the 2 ways in which we can graph linear equation, slope-intercept form, and then using the other form, which has to do with 2 points. Now, we are going to go in depthly in graphing linear equation in this aspect, in solving linear equation. So, let's look at the first method of solving linear equation, and that is solving linear equation in one variable. Now, in solving linear equation in one variable, all we simply need to do is to find the value of that variable in that equation. A linear equation in one variable is a degree 1 equation, and it's literally written in the form ax plus b equal to 0 or equal to any constant. And in this kind of equation, we're asked to find the value of the variable x, where a is a non-zero number, b is a constant, and x is a variable. Now, normally, we usually look at this in mathematics as the coefficient of what? Of x. So I want you to take note of this term because you're going to see it more especially or hear such term as you play around with mathematics. This, any variable or any number, a non-zero number attached to a variable is called the coefficient of that variable. So solving linear equation in one variable, we need to get only one solution for this variable x that is given to us. Now let's look at this example. If we are given 3x minus 6 to be equal to 0 and we are asked to find the value of x, it's straightforward. All we need to do is to add x to both sides. So we have 3x minus 6, add 6 to both sides, equal to 0 plus 6, right? Why this is negative 6 cancelling positive 6. We'll have our 3x to be equal to 0 plus 6 is 6. And to find the value of x, we'll simply divide it by 3. Why 3 cancel out 3? X will be equal to 6 divided by 3 will be 2. And x is equal to 2. This is solving linear equation in one variable, x. So let's look at how we can solve more of this expression, given fractional expression like this and given plain expression which does not involve fraction. Now we're going to consider solving linear equation in one variable when it has to do with a plain equation. Then we'll now consider that of fractional equation. Let's consider this example. Imagine that you are given an equation like this, 4x plus 8, and you are told that this is equal to 8x minus 10, and you are asked to solve for x in this linear equation. What do? All you simply need to do is to find the value of x in this expression. Now, what we need to do is to simplify the equation such that all the variables that has to do with x will be preferably on the left hand side, and then the variables that contains a constant will move to the right hand side. So what do? We have our 4x. 8x is a variable, is a number, is a variable with x. It's a number with x. So we're going to take it to the right hand side. Carry negative. If we move to the right hand side, in the left hand side, it becomes a negative x, right? Equal to, this becomes negative 10. Positive 8 moves to the right hand side, it becomes a negative what? 8. That way we can subtract because we have terms which are same on the same side. 4x minus 8x is going to give us a negative 4x, right? 4x minus 8x, 4 minus 8 is negative 4, x will give us x. So minus 10 minus 8 is going to give us a negative 18. So if I have a negative here, they can cancel out, and then I'll have my 4x equal to 18. To find the value of x, I have to divide here by 4. And hence, if I divide here by 4, 4 will cancel out 4, and then my x will be equal to 2 will go here to give us 2. 2 in 18 will give us 9, and then that will be 9 divided by 2. So the value of x is 9 divided by 2. See? Very easy. So solving linear equation in one variable simply means finding the value of that variable in that equation given to you. Now, what if the equation given to you is a fractional equation? How do you go about solving that? Now, let's assume that you are given a fractional equation. You are asked to solve for y in this fractional equation. Let's assume you are given 3y divided by 2, or let's take this to be 4. 3y divided by 4, and it is minus 1 divided by 2. And you are told that it is equal to 1, and you are asked to find the value of y. What do? Now, this is a fractional question that requires solving using the lowest common multiple. So if there are any fractional term, they then what you need to do is to look for the least